Hello everyone. So as you may know that we are already in Vernon from last 3 days and setting up our Vernon campus. We are almost finished with everything and the doors will be open from 2nd of January 2023. Let me show you our president and the classrooms.
Hello everyone, and thank you Pratik. Sure, so we're kind of like following the same setup that we have in Vancouver. We'd like to have some classes as well as an open area right behind Pratik where he is, which is not completed at the moment. There's a coffee shop and a small little restaurant as well as a coffee shop training center. But then we have one class that you guys actually saw. So they're there. And then we're having another class. We're actually using a very interesting setting because we want to use this class in a way that they can use the open area. And there is open area here. Of course, this is a smaller campus than Vancouver, so there is more open area. There is like an extension to the college going through that door. It's not cleaned yet, so we will show it to you later. And there is like bathrooms over here. There is like a disabled bathroom and a bathroom here. So I mean, this is as much as we have gotten ready. It's about 99% done. There's all touch-ups. It's going to be finished next week. And then we're ready to open in January. So welcome to Vernon campus, guys. All right.
Hey guys, hope you're doing well. We've been posting lots of videos, stories. Hopefully you've been following some of them, and we try to keep them there so we can add to them, especially for our international students.
Exactly.
You know, being here, Soheil, like I've been here a few times in the past, but mostly during the summer when there's a lot of tourism happening. The past few days, because we know we have a lot of international students coming in, I wanted to kind of get a feel for what it's like. Because what happens is, as you know, we were in Mexico. The student is like, "What's Vernon like?" Where you show it to them on the map.
Exactly.
It's difficult. But the cool thing that happens here is that feel of small town. That sort of. Everybody knows your name. You go to the coffee shop, you say, hey, you go in there a couple times and they know you. But, I understand that's really good for some people. If we were talking with Pratik is like, I'd love to move here because it's got that small town feeling, right? You came from a small town, right?
That's correct, yes.
Grew up in a small town. Talk about that feeling a little bit. For someone who has never been in a small town. Well,
definitely here is not a concrete jungle. You don't see tall buildings, and even though we're like right at the core downtown of Vernon, like everybody, when I want to meet them, they're like, "Oh, I'm in downtown. Can I come and meet you?" So it's a downtown, but you don't see buildings more than 3 stories. So we don't really have that feeling that we have in Vancouver.
Nothing.
But so if you're a concrete jungle person, this is not suitable for you. But at the same time, everybody seems to be very, very kind. There is always very friendly. They all want to know what's going on, so they come and they do greetings. And one thing that is very certain here is that talking to all the business owners that we have seen, and also the trades that they have been working here, there's a lot of jobs here to be filled.
So
sure.
They're excited.
The job market, exactly. The job market is very, very good here. Maybe not necessarily for professional jobs, like in terms of
Right, so we're not talking about co-op. We're talking about regular jobs to put food on the table type of.
Exactly. So we're confident that as soon as people arrive here, within like a couple of weeks, they're just going to land a job.
Well, with the network, so you guys don't know this, but we've been going around talking to businesses, telling them that we're coming, and a lot of them are very excited. And I think we'll see how it turns out, but it could even be possible that with our partners that are abroad, in South America, all over the place, right? It could be that when we know the student has got the visa and is coming, we may be able to even secure the position before they show.
That was interesting. Right? Remember, like with the talks that we have, because like Jamak says, we're just doing the networking. We're walking around with different businesses. We actually had some contacts here we met, we just made the point to actually have coffee with them and kind of like tell them what our plans are. And they were very much excited to have people here, fresh young blood. But again, I have to emphasize on the same thing that I've been emphasizing all my life being in Canada: English, English, English. Like this place is a little bit of a, it's a smaller town. There is not that many people that they're speaking other languages than English. So you gotta.
Less of an international community.
Exactly. At the same time, I guarantee you, if you're just living here for 3 months, your English is going to be perfect.
A lot better than Vancouver.
A lot better than Vancouver. So there is this, and the nature here is gorgeous. You've seen it. It's like absolutely stunning, and everybody who's here is because of this smaller city and the nature. There's like ski areas very near here for the winter. There's like, this place is filled with lakes. There is not even 2 kilometers that you go and you don't find a new lake with water sports and stuff like that. Like even us from Vancouver, we're just coming camping and all that in the summer.
We went for a walk last night, right? We went the span of 10 blocks from 27th. So we're on 30th Avenue.
That's correct.
And then the streets run crossing the avenues, right? So we went on 30th, up the hill, all the way up the hill to 27th, and then on the other side we went down to 37th. So this 10 block
core of downtown,
core of that downtown on one street, you can get everything, right? So it doesn't matter whether you need to go to Service Canada, you gotta do your laundry, you want to get coffee, everything is just right here. So you get to walk. But I think we should talk a little bit about housing, right? So,
that's what I wanted to say. I'm glad that you brought it up.
So it may be, and I want to talk about, we talk about the different options we have with housing, right? Let's start with what we're working on, the hostel, right? So one of our contacts told us that there's a hostel, and we actually saw it. We saw it with Pratik last night. We were walking. We saw it. It's about 4 blocks maybe down that way with
literally 10 minutes walk maximum.
Less than that, right? So that could happen, but that's an instant solution, right? So you want to come to Vernon, we book because this is the thing. If you're sitting across the ocean, you don't know what things are like in Canada. Interest rates have gone up now. So everybody stopped buying and they're renting. So it doesn't matter where in Canada you are. There's an inventory shortage of rentals, right? So a hostel might be the first step. Okay, like I go there, I sleep, I come to campus, I do my thing, right? What's the next step of the stuff we're working on?
We've been working on actually, like as a school, we've been working on securing leases for like bigger places and kind of like have shared accommodations for students. So we've been around, like the meeting that we had with one of our contacts yesterday, they were actually giving us ideas of where around Vernon find more reasonable communities around here. Like if you're going toward north, there is a city here, or like a little, I don't know if it's a little town. Yeah. It's called Armstrong. It's only 15 kilometers, and in Canadian standards, 15 kilometers is nothing. It takes like 10 minutes with a bus to make it here. And then if you go down south, there is like multiple different locations. You can go from Oyama to Lake Country to Winfield to Beaver Lake, and then it just keeps going until you make it to Kelowna. So I have seen a lot of people that they're living in Kelowna and working in Vernon. But should that happen, we're going to secure bigger places, and then we were thinking about having like a carpool system from the school to be there. Right now the contender is Armstrong. Probably we're just going to go there. So the second
based
option
on the research, right? So the community here is telling us you can stay downtown, which is hard to find a place, right? There are places available. If you go to Facebook Marketplace, for example, and look within the maybe 2, 3, 5 kilometer radius of Vernon, you'll find spots. You'll find rooms for under $1,000 with shared everything. I was looking last night.
Right.
But if what we're thinking about, and this is not concrete yet, so don't hold us to this, right? We're working on this, is securing a location in Armstrong or a few locations in Armstrong, depending on who's coming over, and then having sort of a shuttle that runs back and forth, brings you to the campus, downtown, and then back. But you know, in terms of shopping, in terms of everything, it's such a small town with a small feel. But, you know, we keep saying small town. Most of the students that come over are younger. They want to party. They want to do something. If you want to do that, you know, you've got your Friday night, Saturday night, whatever. You can go to Kelowna, and Kelowna is.
Oh, besides that, there is movies here, there is nightclubs here, there's like everything, but it's just like not
It's a small
an
town.
abundance of that.
But if you go to Kelowna, Kelowna is
55 kilometers
55.
end to end, yeah.
like I live in the lower mainland to the ITD campus is about 50K.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not 50 kilometers is not like, you know, you're talking
Yeah,
about
you gotta understand the scale of Canada. Like from coast to coast, it's about 8,000 kilometers, or maybe
Right.
even more. So like 15 kilometers or 50 kilometers out of 8,000 is nothing. Like to us, 50K is like really, really close. And like I learned it while renovating this place. A lot of the trees, a lot of the things that we bought it from Kelowna. So we
yeah.
just went to Kelowna.
But the
and we got it.
interesting thing that's happening, so the last time I was in Vernon was probably about 6 years ago, right? The interesting thing that's happened since then is a lot of the big brands are here right now. You've got Walmart, you've got Home Depot, you've got
Superstore, Cactus Club,
I
Red
mean,
Robins, yeah.
This is becoming that big, it's in that transition of becoming a bigger
city.
town.
And I have to tell you, ever since I started, like a year and a half ago, there is at least 10 block added to the city on the north
it
side.
keeps growing,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So it's, you know, it's, but the reason I brought up Kelowna is twofold, right? So number one, and this is Pratik and I were talking about this last night. You can see when you're walking around the city, you can tell this is a vacation kind of tourist type of town. It's set up that way, right?
Right.
But in the winter time, you know, around now, 4:10 to 4:30 in the afternoon, it's dark, right? So you don't see a lot happening. But what we were talking about is this transition after winter into spring and summer. This place is going to get packed with tourists. Right. Because of the lakes, and I was talking to this lady, Barbara, who's the owner of a coffee shop we went to this morning, and she was saying, I'm already so busy with locals every day, but when it's season, when it's people come in, they're coming in from all over the world just to come in here and use the lakes and do that stuff. So if for our students who are here for 1 year at least, right? It doesn't matter when they start, which time they start, they'll get to see the different
rush of the summer. Yeah,
and I think that's super cool. You know, you get to see the small town sort of quiet, everybody knows each other kind of feel, and then the tourists arrive, and all of a sudden you've got a medley of like all kinds of nationalities, all kinds of people who are here to have fun. I mentioned Kelowna specifically because for us living in BC, Kelowna is like the beach town. You know, you come up here to have fun, right?
Yeah.
And it's always busy.
Exactly. And I just wanted to tell you another thing. We've been discussing this. You know, like I've been doing business for a long time, and I've made decisions after decisions after decisions. Honestly, I think opening a branch in Vernon by far has been one of the best decisions I've ever made. I think this city has potentials. I think it actually helps the students, communities getting visa, like their immigration, whatever, like all of these stuff. This is the place to be. And in between all of us, like, you know, Pratik is the one who actually fell in love with the city the most.
Well, I mean, I love the city too. I think that Pratik is the person who doesn't have an anchor necessarily in Vancouver. You can just go get up and move here, right?
Exactly.
That's the difference. The last thing I kind of want to touch on has to do with, is there someone who shouldn't come to Vernon? And I think there is, right? That's just my opinion, right? And I want to touch on that because right now, with the promotions that we have, the price difference between Vancouver and Vernon isn't all that much, right? I mean, it's there. And that's going to go away. Like, that's a promotional price that we have in place because we're just sort of a grand opening type of stuff. 2023 will have this running. 2024, they'll probably be even. Like, there's no reason that this needs to be cheaper than Vancouver, right? There's nothing less here. So when I'm talking to agents, to our educational partners across the world, there's always this question of, you know, should this person come to, or parents even, right? Should he go to Vancouver? Should he go to Vernon? So here's my thing. I think if you're the type of person who needs to be around their own community, who's gonna feel homesick, who's gonna be like, you know, I miss speaking Spanish, for example, speaking Portuguese, speaking Japanese, hanging around, having beers or whatever with my own
type,
people,
yeah.
you know what I mean? If you're that type of a person, this is probably not the best option for you. You know, I'd say pay the extra money or whatever when the time comes when it's the same. Go to Vancouver, because regardless of what nationality you are, within an hour or so you can get to your community. You know, Vancouver is very, very multicultural. Kelowna is more multicultural as well, but it's just a hike, right? And not as much as Vancouver. So, you know, if you're from Spain and you want to hang around with Spanish people, right? Probably don't come to Vernon, right? Go to Vancouver, and that's probably better. So what do you think? Do you agree with that?
I do agree to some extent. There is also, like, you know, all Canada is immigrant based or whatever. It's just a percentage. Like, you know, the guy who's actually doing the renovation for us, he's Spanish. He's like from El Salvador, and he speaks Spanish and all that. And he's been here all his life. So there are people from all over the world. Like right beside us, there is an amazing Indian restaurant that we really like, and you know. There is a community of every nation here as well, except there is just not that many. If you want to kind of like on the weekend go to a Spanish club with like thousands of Spanish people, here is not a place to go.
You know, you may not be able to find Brazilian food here in Vernon. I mean, you may come up here and decide you want to stay and start a Brazilian restaurant. Why not? They'd love you for it, right? Our buddy my contact was saying that, you know, I go to Vancouver. When I go to Vancouver, I have Middle Eastern food because I haven't had it for a long time up here, right?
Yeah.
Because every block over there has Middle Eastern food. But if you're like, I'm from Iran and I have to have warm sabzi on the weekends, don't come here.
It wouldn't work. Like you wouldn't even find the vegetables to make it. Yeah.
This isn't the place for you. But you know, if that's not the case, then this is definitely a great option. I wanted for sure to speak about this, right? Because I feel like it's important. Somebody, you know, this is not a bait and switch thing. You want to come here and want to come here and stay, right?
I understand. It's like, again, the elephant in the room is always the language. Like if you're just coming here, if you're coming to learn English, I definitely recommend Vernon. You will learn English much faster here.
Because you have no choice.
Because you have no choice. You're just gonna starve if you don't know to get people to give you like a sandwich or whatever. But you know, for learning English, like English has been the topic that we've been talking about, and we've done whatever we could in order to improve our graduates' English or whatever, because ultimately that's the one thing you need to get a job, to immigrate. And we'll see, like the government of Canada government of Canada keeps boosting and wanting more in terms of English from people that they're applying for immigration. Right. So something that was good 2-3 years ago, it's no longer good right now. Yeah. So they want like higher scores on you know, commercial tests like IELTS, LPIP, whatever. And again, like I said, if you're going to Vernon and your English is not great, you're going to have a little bit of difficulty, but at the same time, this is the biggest opportunity for you to learn. So
that, you know, when I as you know, when I came to Vancouver in 1987, right, 1988. At that point in time, I was telling Pratik, it was like Vernon. You'd walk the streets, everybody would say hello to you. I had no choice but to have friends that didn't speak Farsi, right? But now, more over and over again, what we see in our students is that they don't learn the language because they don't immerse themselves into the culture.
Society,
They come, we have to force them to speak English on campus because there are other people that they can speak whatever language is their mother tongue. And then they go home and they only associate with that language. I couldn't, when I came back to Vancouver after going to the US, I couldn't believe that there were trade workers, like electricians, plumbers, whatever, that only speak Farsi. Because the Iranian community is so big in the lower mainland, they don't even need, the guy told me, he's like, why do I need to learn, right? I get my jobs and I do them and I'm happy. This is what LA used to be like in early 2000s when I you know, when I saw it. But Vancouver wasn't like that. So at this time, I agree. If you're okay with having a little bit of hardship, you come here. You know, you immediately get friends that do not speak in your
mother's tongue. Yeah.
And you learn. What choice do you have? It's like anything else, is practice, right?
Exactly. Anyways, I think to wrap it up, we are in love with our new campus. We are looking forward to seeing people here. We are going to see some people in January. And I think the city is great. We all love it here. And the more I come here, the more I find people friendly and nice.
Yeah.
So it's actually a great community to be at. There is a lot of opportunities. If you're debating where to go, I would recommend Vernon.
Like, unless you fall into that one group.
Yeah.
We are networking here, guys. I always harp on networking is the thing to do. So obviously we do that, constantly working with the businesses here, trying to build relationships so that life gets easier for you guys when you come here. Everybody we've talked to has been excited that ITD is here in Vernon because they see potential for their businesses growing as well. So from ITD Vernon, signing off.
All right. Okay. See you guys later. Thank you.